Hi, I'm Susan. Welcome to Tea and Games. And I do have a mug of tea back here somewhere. The tea today is, once again, Salty Caramel Pumpkin Black, which I've been drinking all this month because this is what we drink in the fall. It is a tea from Tea Runners. Not a paid promotion, I just really like their teas. So, anyhow, we finished up the top 50 list, and now, right before the month of October ends, we talk about some spooky season games. My jack-o'-lantern friend here, and there is a space to put a light in there, but I just didn't think that it would show up on the camera. So, anyhow, we played a couple of, this is specifically small games for spooky season. We haven't played the big ones yet, and we probably will play them like around Halloween, but not quite while, like for video. So anyhow, I am so inarticulate today. So anyhow, we've been playing smaller games so far for spooky season, including a couple of new ones. We have finally played, and I think we're probably like the last people on earth to play this party game, One Night Ultimate Werewolf, which we played with the family. One of the times when we were over at their house, I was just kind of browsing their game shelves, and I noticed that they had werewolf on their shelves. And so I just thought, this would maybe be a time for us to try it sometime in the future, a good group to play it with. I wasn't at all sure that Robert and I would like this game because that whole hidden traitor betrayer role thingy just doesn't sound like, convincing people you're not a werewolf, but actually being a werewolf in some cases. It didn't seem like something that we would enjoy. But I suggested it with the family when they wanted to get together for games a couple of weeks ago, and we played it. And we used the app. The app was great because it had like music, and there's also a sound effect things I found in there, which I might do wolves next time. But it will walk you through what you do. And since none of us had played this before, yes, they had the game and it was open, but they hadn't, and none of them had played it yet. So there were 5 of us. Yeah, I think there were 5 of us. And so we played werewolf with 5, and it's fast. I mean, it's short. We actually did 2 rounds because we failed to find the werewolf the first time. And so we just had Robert eliminated because we all thought he was a werewolf and he wasn't. I was. But then my card was swapped. So then I wasn't when the vote came around. So the thing is, we played another round because we thought that can't possibly be the whole game. It's like, you have the cards and they go through the thing about the person with this role does this and the person with that role does this, and everybody sitting around with their eyes closed, and then they get to the end of it and they're saying like, okay, everybody open your eyes and decide who the werewolf is. And there's a little timer on the app to keep you from arguing about who's the werewolf for hours, which I could totally see happening, particularly with a larger group. But no, it's like a 5-minute timer. You can set it to whatever you want. And so we argued about who was the werewolf. We voted. And then we're going like, okay, and now we do it again because I mean, it was over. It just took a few minutes to run through all of the different roles with such a small group. And then we had less than 5-minute discussion actually about who the werewolf was. So the game actually played in less than 10 minutes. And we just felt like that couldn't possibly be the whole game right there. So we played another round, and then we did get the werewolf, my brother-in-law. But we picked up our own copy of it because, surprise, surprise, we really enjoyed it, even if we did kind of screw it up. But that's all part of the fun. So yeah, that was a new one for us this spooky season. And there is another new one this spook. Oh no, there's two more new ones this spooky season. I finally did it. I got Final Girl, which this is another one that I didn't think I would like. This is a solo game for those of you not familiar with it. I don't play solo very often. And the whole theme of it is horror movie slasher films, which I don't like and I don't watch. So this is another reason why I just, this did not seem like it would tick any boxes for me. Because like theme is something I do not like at all. Solo game I rarely play. And it's like got this big layout on the table with all this stuff, and it just kind of seemed like it would be a pain in the butt to lay out. And so I just, you know, because I mean, I'm not going to play solo if it's like got a whole bunch of setup, not on a table. I'll use an app or something. But I got it because curiosity just got the better of me. So many people like this game. And there's like each feature film box. This is Camp Happy Trails. Location is Camp Happy Trails. I think that the box is actually called the Happy Trails Horror, but it's got, each box comes with two heroines which have different special abilities cards, and they each come with a different murderer kind of person that you're going up against and a different location. But you can mix and match your heroines, your villains, and your locations. So I kind of thought that that system sounded sort of interesting. And a lot of people think that this game is really good. And I don't know. They had it at our local game store. So I went ahead and I got the core box, which you need the core box in order to be able to play. And then I got the Camp Happy Trails because this is the box this is the setting that's in the starter pack that they have for this. If you're just getting into it, it's the Happy Trails Horror and the core box. So I thought that that was kind of meant to be the starting place. So I got it and I laid it out and I played it with Lori. And that first playthrough didn't go well. It's not that I died quickly or anything. It's just that it felt a little grindy right at the end, and I wasn't sure if I was doing things correctly. And I just got really frustrated and just quit when Hans and I both had 2 or 3 health left. Because it just kind of seemed like, you know, we're knocking the health down and gaining the health back and knocking the health down and gaining the health back. And I didn't know if I could win or not, but I had been playing for hours at that point, and I did a stupid thing. I had it laid out on the coffee table, and it does fit on our coffee table, but after sitting on the couch and leaning over the coffee table literally for hours doing this as I'm learning how to play and playing through it, after a while, by the end of it, my back was just hurting because I was like in a perpetual lean. And it's like, I didn't know if I was doing it right. We're just going back and forth and it's dragging on. And I just said, to heck with it. I'm out of here. So I just marked it as a loss and packed everything up. But I kept thinking about it. Excuse me. Not thinking about, oh, should I have played this card instead of that card? And should I have moved here? And should I have moved there? Or did I do this? And I could have done that. And I wasn't thinking about it that way. It just kind of, the game flow, shall we say, sort of stuck in my head. You know, you play the action cards and you buy the action cards and you reset this, and then you have the killer phase and you turn over the tarot card, and I realized that I really learned the rhythm of the game. The rhythm of the game was kind of stuck in my head, and it was really satisfying. It was satisfying to play, to do the things. And so I laid it back on the table Monday and got my first win with Lori. Played her again. And it got close. It did get close. It was not an easy win. And I did go back through things after my first play, and I didn't actually do very many things wrong. Really, I didn't. I think I missed a couple of small things on certain rounds, but I did pretty well that first playthrough, and the second playthrough was even smoother. And like I said, I like the rhythm of the game. So this turned out to be a surprise hit, much in the way that Werewolf turned out to be a surprise hit. We played 2 games this spooky season that I thought I would not like, and I liked both of them. The whole horror slasher movie thing doesn't really do anything for me, but the puzzle of it does. And the next game I play will be with Reiko. Although, when you win, the first time you win with one particular heroine, there's a little envelope in there and you unlock something that you can use the next time you play with that heroine. But I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go on to the next heroine, because then that way I get to see what she unlocks. But yeah, Final Girl was a surprise hit. Mind you, I don't think I'm going to play a huge amount of Final Girl because I don't play solo very often. So I don't think that that's going to be something that I'm just going to like buy all the boxes and play all the things. But yeah, I could see it being something I would do every now and then, because the game flow is just really surprisingly satisfying and interesting. And other things that we played, I said there were 3 new games. Let me mark off the ones I've already mentioned here. But one of the other games that I got this a while back. I have never played Button Shy's Skulls of Sedlec. Button Shy makes little wallet games, and this is one of their most popular wallet games. People who play Button Shy, this is one of the ones everybody talks about. But that whole stacking skulls thing in an ossuary, the theme just didn't really resonate with me. And you know I'm all about theme. But sometimes you got to get something that's not in your theme wheelhouse, so to speak, which is how I ended up with Werewolves and Final Girls. But Robert and I played Skulls of Sedlec, and I think there is, a solo version of this too. Let me see if I can set that up there. I think there is a solo version of it, but I haven't played it solo. There's a ton of expansions for this. I didn't get any expansions because I wasn't sure if I would like it, but we both played it, and it's an interesting little puzzle. I don't know that it's particularly spooky, but spooky season seemed like a good time to break this thing out. And it's tricky. It is really a tricky little laying out things, and you've got to place certain cards. The skulls on those cards want to be next to other cards or not next to other cards. So, and you've got only so many actions, and you can only have 2 cards in your hand. That's what's really going to get you in this game. But I mean, and you lay them out in a pyramid, and you've got to have these things next to each other or not next to each other or above these or below those. And it's a nifty little puzzle. It is different, very different from The Ugly Griffin Inn, which is also a Button Shy game, which has cards that has the patrons of the inn, which have to be put near each other or not near other things. And that was another reason why I haven't gotten Skulls of Sedlec before now, is because it just kind of sounded a lot like Ugly Griffin Inn. You've got cards and you've got to place them out on the table, and you've got to place the cards on and not have some things next to other things, and then you've got to stack other things next to those things. And I just kind of felt like that just sounds very, very much like Ugly Griffin Inn, which I really, really like. Solo game I like a lot. Though this is competitive rather than solo. I mean, it's like multiplayer. But it really doesn't play like that. I just did not get that Ugly Griffin Inn feels or vibes off of this. And that could be also because it is a competitive game. I believe it plays more than 2. Yes, it plays 2 to 3, so you could play this with 3 players. We played it at 2, plays good at 2, and this is another winner. We like this a lot. And so that's 3 new games. 3 games that I was so about getting, and yet they all 3 turned out to be hits. And now we get into some of our regulars for spooky season, although one of the regulars has a bit of a twist on it. This is one we play every year at spooky season. This is another 18-card game. It's not button shy. You can tell by the box size the cards are larger format cards, and that shows off the artwork pretty well. Tides of Madness is a Cthulhu-themed game in which you're doing card drafting and you're scoring points off of the other cards that you draft, and it goes through 3 rounds. This is very enjoyable. It is not a pure card game. There are madness tokens in here because some of the cards have like tendrils and tentacles on the side of the card, and so you get madness tokens for those. And if you get too many madness tokens, you go mad, and that means you go bust. But we've neither of us, even though we have really pushed our luck on selecting cards that had madness on them, neither of us has ever gone bust. We've never gone mad in this game. We've been playing it for a few years now, and it's such a fast, fun game. You can play it like back to back, like one game right after another pretty quickly. But we've never gone mad. And I have gotten like maximum madness a number of times, and there's even a card that will allow you to score off of that, so it can sometimes be worth your while. But yeah, this is a nifty little game. If you like 18-card 2-player games, and you are okay with the Cthulhu theme. I know a lot of people are getting kind of burned out on that whole Cthulhu theme because there's like Cthulhu everything now. But if you're okay with the Cthulhu theme and you like 18-card 2-player games, that is one maybe you would want to track down. We also got in a play of Campy Creatures, which some of you may recall. I really don't like the setup for this game. When we play this game, I make Robert do the setup because this is a very short, fast, fun card game. And I do like it as a fast, fun card game. But at least at 2 players, I feel like setup is too long and too fiddly for the amount of gameplay that you get, the amount of bang you get for your buck, so to speak. It's like you have to arrange the deck and take these things out and all the different things that you have to do. And it may be a little bit better if you're not playing at 2 players. But that 2-player game, I just say, oh, this is so aggravating. I just want to sit down and play because it's that kind of a card game. It is a very fast, fun card game. And we do have an expansion for it, but which we have played and liked. But I feel like setup is just too involved and fiddly for the amount of game that follows that setup. And that is my only complaint with it because otherwise I really like it. And Robert likes it even more than I do because that amount of setup doesn't bother him. So I say, right, you set it up. So he's the one that sets it up every time. We had thought that we would be playing this with more people this year, but that just didn't work out. Our Spooky Games Day morphed into something else with non-spooky games. And of course, we have gotten in our traditional Halloween plays of Halloween Patchwork. Halloween Patchwork is a re-theme of the traditional patchwork with one difference. The Halloween version of the patchwork has rebalanced tiles for the polyomino tiles. So that is something you should be aware of. I'm guessing that this makes gameplay a little bit better, but to be honest, I really don't notice a huge difference between playing this version of patchwork and other versions of patchwork. One thing to note as a difference, that it has really nice kicky colors on here. And the player boards, another 2-player game here, the player boards are orange and purple. But something to note is that instead of buttons, like on the traditional Patchwork, you have eyeballs. So yeah, and I make googly eyes with my little eyeball currency there. But yeah, we played this, and it's fun. It's kind of kicky with the bright colors and the goofy eyeballs on stuff. So Halloween Patchwork, it is basically just a reskin of Patchwork for Halloween, but it does have some rebalanced tiles. And the tiles that are rebalanced, they have a little asterisk on them. So that way you know that those are the tiles that have had changes done to them. If you want to like spread them all out with another version of Patchwork and make a comparison. So let me see here. Okie dokie. Oh. And another game. This is, strictly speaking, not a Halloween game, but it does have a Halloween expansion. We got the dry erase boards for Welcome To. This is the collector's edition, which has all the stuff. But we got the dry erase boards for the seasonal expansions, which include Halloween. So we have extra dry erase boards in addition to these. But something to note about the Halloween Candy Corn and Ghost expansion in the collector's edition is that the goal cards, the third card, which is the one that you sub when you're using one of the themed expansions, they're different from the ones that came in the regular previous expansion. So we actually have more of the themed expansion gold cards for summer, Halloween, Christmas, and Easter eggs for spring. We actually have more gold cards for those because we have the gold cards for the regular game, and then the collector's edition changed most of the gold cards, I think. They changed a lot of them. So if you're super familiar with all of those expansions and all of those games and you've played them all and you feel like, wow, I've really got this nailed, the collector's edition does have different gold cards for all of that stuff. But yeah, it has a Halloween themed board. You are trick-or-treaters. You're going to score for candy corn and ghosts. Let me see if I left it on top, and I bet I didn't. No, I don't think I did. Nope, I think I got something else on top. Oh, I'm going to have to dig. See, it comes with a lot of boards. It also plays more players than just the 4 dry erase boards we have, but because we added that to this, we got even more. So, yeah, we did okay with that one. There have been some of these seasonal expansions that have just ate our lunch, but we did okay with Halloween. They do have in the collector's edition rating them like from easier to harder for the expansions, and I'm not sure I really agree with their way they weighted those for those. But and that brings us to, this is technically not a small game, but all the other games are small, so this is going into the small game. We got Mist Over Carcassonne, I don't know, last year before, whenever it came out. And this is a cooperative version of Carcassonne in which you are managing ghost and fog banks. And we worked our way up through the lower levels of the game before spooky season was over the last time. And we decided this year we wanted to do things a little bit different because in addition to being a full game of Carcassonne, just a whole game unto itself, a standalone co-op game, in addition to that, this also can act as an expansion for a regular base game of Carcassonne. It is the Ghost Castles and Cemetery expansion. because those tiles goes when you're playing with the ghost, and there's castles and cemeteries. So if you want it to be competitive, you can make it competitive by using these tiles in the base game. And something to be aware of is that this is not a mini expansion. This is a mega expansion. You're going to put all of these tiles mixed in with the base game. So that is going to make the base game substantially longer. There are a number of expansions you can get that just add like a dozen tiles or so. There's something like, I think, about 60 tiles in this game. So you're not doubling the number of tiles in the game, but yeah, you're adding a lot more tiles. Also, you can haunt your opponents. If you want things to be super competitive and add a really more, take that into the base game of Carcassonne, this will do it. I have to say though, it kind of fell flat for us. We are not super into take that, and I don't know, I felt like that the mechanics of it, it just didn't have quite the zing of some of the other Carcassonne expansions. But yeah, it's okay. It's good. And it was interesting to play. So I'm very, very glad that we have now tried it out as an expansion, as well as playing it as a standalone cooperative game. So those are our small games for spooky season. And we'll probably be playing some more big games for spooky season, but I have fallen so far behind in talking about what we're playing, and we've gotten some new stuff. The camera is actually stacked on top of boxes that I want to talk about next. So we may not talk about big box games because after this goes out, spooky season is going to be wrapping up. So yeah, we may just go on to regular games pretty darn quick here. But I have had a good time with these games. I've had a surprisingly good time with these games. Some of them I just did not know if I would like them or not, like the Mist over Carcassonne as an expansion, or Werewolf. Yeah, and we need to find a better way to set up Werewolf, because we could, even with our eyes closed, because of light coming in through the window, we could tell when people were moving around to do the cards. So yeah, we need to figure out a way to lay out the cards and maybe be less aware of people. I need to crank up the volume on the app, maybe less aware, and not have somebody backlighted by a bright window next time we play Werewolf. But we've had a lot of fun with these games, a lot of surprising fun, like with Werewolf and Final Girl. And we've played our old favorites as well, the smaller old favorites. We have bigger old favorites for spooky season too. But I hope y'all have had a good October. I think it's just really neat that so many people have come around and watched the top 50 videos, which was a very personal list. They're all in a playlist. And I'm happy you are all here. I'm pleased that we've got new subscribers. I am pleased that our regular subscribers stuck it out through all 50 of the top 50. And I think some of them really did watch all 50. You know who you are. But I had a good time, and I hope you have too. And I hope that you are playing some good stuff for spooky season. Let me know down in the comments what you are playing for spooky season. And I will see y'all next time round the table. Bye.